Michelle looks studious
We didn't take up with that.
let me tell her this
Oh
already.
my god, you're super
Hi everyone, welcome to another
conversation with Lee.
Conversation with Elise. We welcome all our new subscribers, and of course it is Daddy Day, Mighty, and all the other fathers out there. It's a nice feeling to be celebrated. It's a nice feeling to um to be given a special day and to be lauded on that special day. Welcome again, as we said before, to all our new subscribers. We just want to thank you for coming along, and of course, we want to ask you to help us to get to the gold or the mark of 1,000 subscribers. Good to see you, Ruan.
Welcome, cause
Thanks,
welcome.
sir. Thanks for the wishes. Thank you very much. Um, get this thing a little bit. He says hi to you too.
Good night, cause good night. Good to have you always.
Yes. So if you notice, we changed the settings, so we kind of switched around, fix up a little corner, so that we can, give a little fresh look to the live tonight. Hope you can see us well. We try to adjust the lighting as best as we can so that you can see us. All right. So yeah, we want to again. I know repeating myself, but hello and hi to all our new subscribers. We're happy that you joined us. You're gonna notice that there's a different quality in the videos, different quality from our
Yeah.
lives versus our video upload or our vlogs. Because the reason for this, we can only go live on our laptop.
Yeah.
We're not able to go live on our mobiles until we have reached the 1,000 subscriber mark. So that is why we need your help, guys, to spread the word. And as we've always said, what we are taught, the information that we give on our channel, what we discuss, what we talk about, if it helps you, if you find it interesting, if you find it entertaining, because we don't just talk about serious things, yeah. We talk about so that we can enjoy and just have a fun with. Um, Sherry, bless always.
Yes.
Happy to have you, Sherry. Bless always.
Said happy Father's Day.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
to have you,
I think
Sherry.
she's one of our new subscribers.
Yes, and
So we
welcome.
want to welcome you also to Conversation with Elise. Happy that you came on. Nice, nice. So yes, we're gonna need your help, guys, to get to 1,000 subscribers. And once we do that, we can go live anywhere we are in the
Yeah.
world,
On
anywhere we
any
are in
device.
Jamaica, on any device, especially on our mobile phones. Right? Quickly for a lot of our friends and my friends would have sent me Father's Day gift today, but guys, my phone kind of crashed.
Yeah.
Not
Filling
kind of, it crashed,
water.
fell in water, and I'm not gonna give it away, but it was in my attempt to create some content which we are going to be posting in the future once the phone gets sorted and whatever. Not telling no more. Just wait to see. Um, Also, there are some other contents that we are working on. We did some interviews with a radio station. We're going to put those clips together, and we're not going to tell you much more about it. There'll be a surprise. Also, our Father's Day blog is going to come up, and you'll also get to see that. Um, all of that is we weren't able to put it all together for it to come out today. So that's why we continue to do the live today, and we just want to have a little chat about fathers today. Of course, it is Father's Day, and the truth of the matter is, there's this notion that you know fathers are MIA, which sometimes you don't think is a notion because actually you see it,
This is true. Most.
you see it to be truthful. Oh yes, one more thing before we continue. If you're on the live, please like the live. That's the golden rule. It will, of course, help the algorithm for our channel to expand. So thank you very much. Yes, so it is not just I mean, I think most of us, especially in Jamaica, we can speak about it. That it's not just a myth that there are actually fathers who are missing in action
Yeah,
But
Ron is asking a question.
Ron asked the question.
Yeah, how was your Father's Day, sir? And did you enjoy yourself?
All right, boss. That was supposed to be my next talk. Yes, I it was my Father's Day was lovely. I it started out nice. We had a nice breakfast, an additional surprise again. You know, nice surprise. Then we went to church, and after church, I came home. Well, I went to do some other
Mission.
mission. I was on a mission before coming home, and then I came home to a lovely dinner, and of course, again, all that will be captured, so you get to see. Oh, my
All
dear
that
was
has been
all
captured.
that. Yeah, you get to see it in our next upload. So thank you for asking, sir. And just to top it off, I had a fantastic day. Yes. So as again, if you're watching for the first time, or if you're watching it post, you can please leave your comments in the description, not in the comment section, sorry. And you can raise the topics, any topic you want us to address, you can do so, while we ourselves continue to bring, we just put our heads together, and then we come up with wonderful topics that you guys will find interesting, and of course fun and entertaining. All right, so we are here again tonight, and we're looking at Father's Day and what it all means to us. But let me, and of course, your comments, please share them, and of course, we'll read them out for you as we go along. But what is your take on your feeling on Father's Day, Michelle?
I think Father's Day is an excellent day. I think that it's just not highlighted enough as it should. Because Mother's Day, there's always a big bang and it's like the world go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of sad when you realize when Father's Day come around, so much emphasis and energy don't seem to be placed in it as much as Mother's Day. And
Mm-hmm.
I think as it relates to fathers stepping up in this generation, I think it has been better than the latter because a lot of young guys, they're stepping up and they're claiming their children and they're trying their best. It have ways to go. I'm not gonna be naive. There's more way for it to go where more fathers need to step up. But I've seen in this century where the fathers, yeah, they're owning their children and they're stepping up to the plate, especially the younger generation actually. And showing more appreciation, in a mega way, need to be done. I think it need to be done, and it does encourage us to because for a long time when it comes to Father's Day, I hear people talk about deadbeats and all of that and all of that, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of old, what would you say, hurt
Mm-hmm.
keep coming over in the different
Generation. Yeah.
generation because of that. So I think what need to be done now is to focus on the positive and to try change it by focusing on those who are doing it and
Doing it right.
and doing it right. So those who are lagging can catch up.
I think, as Michelle says, still Father's Day can be highlighted a lot more. Um, and I think, I believe that sometimes when you speak about something consistently, it perpetuates itself. So if you speak negative about something, the negative
Yeah.
going to be prolonged. Yes? But I believe, and so the opposite is the same. If we begin to speak positive now, maybe the positive will prolong. Yes? Yeah, there's not enough fanfare about Father's Day as there is about Mother's Day. And I think there's a lessening then of the kind of the value of the father. So here it is that persons speak about fathers being absent from the home, right? And yet when there are some men now who are trying to do it the right way, they don't hear the big fanfare about. You
Yeah.
don't see you don't see this on the tabloids or in the tabloids are speaking a lot more about fathers who have done positive things. I mean, you hear about it now, scribbles all over the place, but you don't see it big and massive like how they emphasize when the fathers are missing in
Yeah.
action. You understand me? So I agree with Michelle. It can be more highlighted and lauded because there are these young men who are trying nowadays to do it not like how them father to do it or them
Right.
grandfather to do it. Yes, I see young men now who are not even married. Some a lot of them are they, you know, them get somebody a young lady pregnant, and in as much as some of the time they are maybe not married to the young lady, they are very much involved in the child's
In the
life.
child's life.
Versus yeah, back in the day when the, people come together, have children, and the father there we are yonder
Yeah.
are never to be even heard of, and then you have a person who literally don't know who their
Yeah.
father is. You understand me? But now I think in this generation there are young men who are trying to do it better
Yeah.
than how our forefathers did it.
That's true,
And I
brother.
think those young men should be lauded. They should be spoken of
Yeah.
and given the props. Just like how when things not going good, then
Yeah.
they don't get them don't get the props.
They don't get the props. And one of the things that I think why this negative keep coming over on the fathers, and we're not saying still have a lot of fathers that are lagging their feet, but there's so much hurt that have happened in mothers and grandmothers where they impose it a lot on the children. They impose it on the children, so you find out that, and I think there's some bitterness that carries, like if a man and a woman is not together again, and like in Jamaica, the tradition is that you have a lot of one man having a lot of kids with different ladies, and though he may be bending his back to take care of his responsibility in you would say in his capacity, they are hurt that the mothers feel, and sometimes the mothers themselves, they what would you say, they carry this bitterness towards the father, and
And by,
they're
and by and by extension, the child will absorb and
the
feel it.
child absorb it, and the father goodly, the father very well may be taking care of their kids, but maybe not in the magnitude of which the mother may want,
Hmm.
because they're not together anymore, and then they say certain things that poisons, you understand, the child's mind,
Yeah.
because they cannot have their way with the dad. And those things are not right, because sometimes it builds resentment in children, and the man may be, doing his best, and then the child grow up resenting the dad,
Hmm.
because they're saying my father never take care of me and my father never did. When very well there are some men who strain and do so.
Yeah.
You understand?
Hold
And
on, hold on. Pam is saying hi. Happy Thank you, Pam. Thank you,
thank you,
Pam.
Pam.
Pam
Thank
said,
you. Welcome.
saying Happy Father's Day to me. Why, Pam? Thanks, man.
That's
Thanks.
nice and
Make me feel
welcome.
nice, of course. Sorry, Michelle. I cut
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But there are some fathers that may not have it to give in a luxurious way,
Mhm.
and because they're not living with the parents, then they get this title of absentee father. And sometimes the father the mother withhold the kids
Mhm.
to punish the dad, and then the child suffers. But then the child don't know all of those stuff, and then the child grow up with a resentment, towards the dad. And it wasn't that the dad wasn't trying
Mhm.
to be there,
Right.
but when it's a broken home or a broken family, it's more tedious. And then once again, it spill over on the children. So as moms, we have to be honest, and sometimes we need to put aside our feelings and put our children first,
Mm. And help
and
and
know
help the next
and
generation.
help the next generation.
Yeah, because I
You
mean,
know?
you can't say all this lost because film Papa was this and this that.
Yeah.
Everybody can do their part to help the next generation, the Lord Tyrese, to be better.
To be,
You
yeah.
understand? That's my mom saying, "Good night, family. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers." Also, Mr. Lee, God bless you.
Good
Thank you,
night,
mom.
Jen.
Thank
Welcome,
you, thank you,
welcome.
mom. Right, and and
Welcome.
and 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 I think we are we are a Christian couple, and we have two children, and yes, we can see the value of our contribution. The both of us contributed in our children's lives,
Mhm.
right? But I mean, there's another side to it of the absence of the father and how that affects the home. I can tell you that maybe if I wasn't here and you had the two kids, how
Yeah.
would it?
it would have been real strenuous because I can remember in previous jobs that
Mm.
you had that
Oh, and I'm not. Is this is syrup, guys?
in
Just
pre
say.
yeah, look, questionable. In previous
Yeah.
in previous in previous jobs that you have worked where you literally it's like you were working morning and really night till before day, you
Mhm.
know, and there were times that I would say to you, boy, sometimes I feel like a single mom because it's not even your fault at the time. It's just that the workplace that you was, it demand that of you
Mhm.
for you to be there. It seemed like it was 24/7 because on Sundays you weren't even able to be at church, and I think I used to remember me as a boy. It seemed like I'm just a single mom because you're so
She literally
busy.
said to me,
Yeah, I
guys.
literally said it because that's how it felt.
Hold
And
on,
then
Michelle.
Michael was much
Let me interrupt you a
smaller.
little bit. Ruan says she is asked about my birthday. Should I really answer him, Mike Michelle? Because Ruan did not watch the
Oh,
vlog.
that mean you didn't watch the
He did
vlog
not watch the
first.
birthday,
Maybe
my
he's
birthday vlog.
busy. He not get around
Ruan,
to it
listen to
yet.
me, sir. When you see the notification come up, guys, everybody need to click on the notification bell, turn it on, so that each video we upload, every time we go live, you'll be the first to be
First thing.
notified. And when you get a notification, you can, if you don't have the time to watch it same time, set a reminder to go and watch it another time. Ruan, go and watch it yourself. It is
But he
on.
had a great time. But there, one of it's our latest video. It is our
Yes.
latest video that is posted. So he did had an
All
excellent
right, Ruan.
time.
Since you're a cousin, I'll go easy with you. Yes, I had a wonderful time, sir. But the details of that wonderful time can be seen in the video.
Yeah, when you do have a time, you can check it.
Yes.
Yeah, so you were really busy, and just like something that I've heard today, wherein you have different category of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the dad that is a body. You have the dad that is a what would you say? Provide like you provide
Provider.
the provider dad. So at one stage in our life when Michael was much smaller, you were like the provider dad
Mm-hmm.
because you're at work and you have to work,
Yeah, I remember.
to take care of the family. But then it was strenuous, and then that was around the time when he was just transiting from
From
class
kid.
3 in
Okay.
kindergarten,
Mm.
and he was in the reading stage. The reading stage. But for some reason, I wasn't really getting through to him. And then with working at home, sewing from home, and then now have him to pick up. And then I think we had a pickup for him. But then
Mm-hmm.
I have homework session and then cooking and everything. And I had the leapfrogs that spill over from Jordan, but his way of learning was just
You
different
have to be
from
hands on.
Jordan. It has to be hands on, while Jordan own
You just
you
set it
just
and forget it.
supply, send it, provide her with the supplies and she run with it. Versus Michael not being a boy is like Mefadede and everything, even though he has the ability to do the thing. It's as if, as soon as we turn my back, him start doing own. It was tedious, guys. I can't go through everything, but it was tedious. And I said, baby, if you were here, he listened to you and he listens to you, and then you could have reached him.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because when you said, boy, he is like I at the time, I'm the one who disciplined. I would spank him and he come like nothing. And kind of we just have to Michael. And he sits and he does his work and everything. So when I see it start being too much now, I start to murmur and say, I know that you're working and everything, but I feel like a single mom. And when
If,
he
go ahead.
when you got a different job, at the time there was a period that you weren't working and there was
Mm-hmm.
more time and everything. I'm saying the difference. It was a different thing when he was present. And even now that you're working and stuff, and me say, so I'm doing revision with Mike, and he's slacking off and whatever you want. When you come home, you will call him up and say, I heard that you're joking around. What is happening with the revision? And he break it down and he told him, he said, Daddy, because when I come from school, at the time when mommy want to do it, I want to play or I want a little time to do this. But then because I have a schedule that I'm working, I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to structure it that way, but it wasn't working for him. But while he would tell that, he wasn't telling it to me. So having both parents, it really do work.
And guys, just to say, those who are on the live
Helps.
now, glad to see you on. Please, I mean, indicate who you are. We'll say hi to you. You say hi to us,
Yeah.
so we can know you are. Just before we continue with the conversation, of course, please tell us what are your thoughts on Father's Day. I mean, what if you had an absent, if you had a father that was not in the home, or if you had a father in the home, what was it like for you? But I want to also big up the first time fathers,
Yes.
like Akimo Fletcher,
Yes.
a guy from one of the bikers from my workplace. Big up yourself. You want him to talk about the girl in bus. And I said, boy, the girl in bus will come. I was like, yeah, but you just missed by a couple of inches. Because he has a brand new baby boy. Yes. Of course, Kisan, who is, I think this is the second Father's Day still, but he's still new upon the block. And to all of the fathers who are out there, we want to say a big up to you, and of course, continue to be an example to your child, and continue to be an example to all other men out there. Because, as I said, a lot of our fathers were not in our lives in the past, but we going to change the trajectory and do the thing differently, right? Because we don't want what happen for we happen to our children, our sons and daughters. Yeah. So I realize for a fact that the discipline that um, comes with my intervention, being here and present with Michelle and present in the home, it helps the discipline. So the truth is, being a mother who has to take care of the child or grow a child by herself, she has a mammoth task. She has a very heavy task, because where the father can come in and be that balance or create that balance, and level the playing field with her, right? She being alone, it's going to be more challenging. It's going to be rougher. You understand me?
Welcome, sorry. Welcome,
Yeah, man.
Sister Hines. Say happy Father's
Thank you, Sister Hines. Thank you,
Welcome.
thank you, and welcome. What? Yes.
Yes, that is true, and we're not going to be naive that there's a lot of moms that are still playing the father role. So happy Father's Day to those moms who have to wear both
Happy
hats.
Father's Day to the mom.
Yes,
All right then.
there's a lot of moms who still no.
Oh,
We
you
have
mean like who? Where's the two caps?
that wear both hats, right? So we have to really, yeah, it's true.
The reason,
Everybody's
the
not
reason, the, re- and
fortunate.
the reason why I do this, because even in talk to these mothers, they'll still tell you that, boy, that it's a struggle.
It
Like
is.
the father, like not having a father in the home, it doesn't necessarily fills the gap per se, but it's like she just have to make do.
That is true, but it doesn't mean that they're not doing it. The truth is, they are all right. The truth is, let's break it down. You have the moms who they would really wish and hope that the dads are there.
Right.
But for whatever reason, the dads are not there because it's the reality of life. They have to step up and try to play. They have to be the mom that they are, and they have to try to feel that gap of the father. Now we know that a mom truly and genuinely cannot truly effectively, you know, replace the dad. But nevertheless, there are women who have done it and are still doing it.
Yeah.
And doing it with pride because they don't have a way out. They're not going to throw their hands up and die because that's the reality of their situation. So, I just want to say happy Father's Day to the moms as well who are doing that. And I have to say respect also because there are also, if it's even 1 out of 10, you find out that you will find children who grow up in single homes, whether with just the mom or with the dad, but we're focusing on the dad now. So they grow up with their mom not having a dad, but those children still push, persevere with the help of their mom and overcome the odds and still, make something of themselves. That's the reality of situation. Are we saying that it's not hard? No, it is hard because even when you have the dad there, it is still difficult, much more.
Yes.
So we just don't want to brush through and not what you say acknowledge those persons, and worse if someone like that or persons like that are watching, because it does happen and people do fight the good fight, and the Lord help them to pull through.
Well, let me ask this question. And I was saying good night to Carlene. I should come on, Carlene Williamson.
Yeah, good night, Curly.
Good to have you,
Welcome.
Carlene, founding member. Yes.
Yes.
Um, Let me ask, be honest now, ladies. Is there reason sometimes why, are we not condoning or this I say? Is there reason sometimes that that comes up why the father take for himself, why the father leave? Right? And we're not talking about Christian home now. We're talking about generally speaking. Because I have heard of situation where um the a man yes he gets a lady pregnant and child and yes and it is clear that it's his child, right? But the man just can't live with the mother and him just disappear, or he may be able to provide what his mother provide from a distance, because some of the time, which I don't want to go that part, but they may provide from a distance. You understand me? But sometimes the men may leave sometime because of the woman that is
Yeah,
with.
that is true. That is true. That's why I was getting into it a little in the beginning. That is
Mhm.
true. You and that's why I was saying the children should not suffer because of that. Because in most situation, when that happens and the mom want to maybe still be a part of that man's life. The worst if the man wasn't, whereas if the man wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, but then they have to separate too,
Mhm.
and then later on when he separates and he find himself in a different relationship with a different person, he's now playing that role and he's doing it well. You find out that the farmer baby mom, she have sometimes they want to get back because they say, well, why you get it right in the second relationship, so I mean sometimes they pull tricks and say, come over here, we are over here. But sometimes it doesn't have a thing to do with the child.
Mhm.
It's just that maybe he was just having a rough time, a rough patch in life,
Yes.
and that relationship that was severed taught him some things that help him to maybe grow up, and he doesn't want to make the same mistake again. For whatever
Mhm.
reason, have he's now walking into his own and doing what he's supposed to do. So I'm saying in a situation like that, you have mothers now who get in the way
Yes.
of the man now making it right with the child that have maybe sacrificed. 'Cause it is a sacrifice. He sacrificed that child because of what he was going into through to get it right with this farmer one, and
Mhm.
now he wants to make it right. And sometimes the ladies are bitter, as we have been saying, and they get in the way of the man trying to correct his mistake. So we're saying, as ladies, we have to look into ourselves and know that it's not about us in those situations. It's always about the children. It
Mhm.
is always. And I just want to say Happy Father's Day to Craig. Please forgive me, Craig Williams.
Yes, Craig.
I with all of what going on today with church and home,
I'm
there's
a
some
phone. I'm a
person,
phone go down, guys.
yes,
Just to
his
say again.
phone is not.
So I know a lot of persons I would have reached out to and heal them up and thing, but the phone went down.
Yes, so I repent, Craig, and all the other persons that I didn't get to reach out to today as normal dads. I just want to apologize. So yes, so as moms, we need to put the blame where it needs to go
And I
as well.
and it is good to hear a woman say, because sometimes women don't want to take partly some of the blame sometimes. Why a man will leave a relationship, or leave the burden on them alone. I'm not saying it is
It's
right.
not right.
Not saying
Oh.
it is right. But we're just saying that if we're being honest with ourselves, and I think ladies can look back, some ladies can look back and say, no, it's true, I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna do that differently, right? And henceforth the man would have been a father, not just by providing money,
Mhm.
but he'll physically be there to give support to her in raising the child. You understand me? Um there, there, there are some times I stop and I look back in my life, and I mean, because my father, he was a pretty wild man, just to say the least. Um, he had a lot of children, but I remember having having great moments with him. I remember my father. In fact, when I think the first time I met my father, I think I was about 11 years old. I think that's the first time I met my father. and my mom took me down there, and she left me there. You mean I mean my mommy, but she leave me there. I said, "Say stay here until him come." She carried me to her place. I said, "Stay here until him come," and
Yeah.
I stayed there, and I met him, and it was one of the proudest
Moment.
moments in my life when I saw this short, thick, black brother coming out of this big old truck we push with that tar, in because my father was a civil engineer, so he would build road, repair roads, build bridges, and asphalt them and whatever the case may be. And I saw him jump out of the truck. I'm having towel, one big towel strap running across his neck, and which of course tells you why me sweat so much too. But this big toe him strap across him neck or so,
Yeah.
and come out of and he came in, and I don't remember his first words to me, but I think him asked you like where's my mommy, and then we started to talk and so forth. It was one of
You
the
felt like,
pro
oh my God, my
hello.
daddy.
It was out of this
But
world,
the truth is,
the
that's when you
feeling.
know that children, this is the best. I'm like, children don't ask for much from parents. Um,
No,
no, like,
except Michael.
I'm being a partner. Michael is kind of spoiled. I'm a mommy and daddy.
Right,
They see you every day.
right.
But most children don't ask for much. What most children look for, and even speaking from experience as a child, you just want to see your dad, and your dad say, playing with you.
Yeah. Oh,
Talking
you mean for the child who
for
doesn't
the
know the
child who
fact,
doesn't, yeah.
right? I
And
don't
even
see him
for
daddy
the
around.
right, and even for those who's living with their dad, but he's just too busy.
Mhm.
He's busy taking care of the monetary situation, the
Yeah.
providing state of it, but they are not there just
Emotionally,
emotionally
yeah,
and even physically to say sit and talk of a
and play
conversation.
around.
Yeah, you have some children wherein they will take them ball and then lick it against the wall for years until tomorrow. In their mind, they would angry
Mhm.
because they wouldn't mind having daddy at the next end to
Yeah,
throw back the ball at them.
yeah.
Mommy could very well go there be perky and doing that, and it's really not the
Not the
same.
same.
It's
Yeah.
really not the same. Maybe they wouldn't mind to have daddy to say, okay, show me if you tie the shoes, some simple little things. Maybe if we go to river, maybe if to just say we're go out, we're gonna eat the ice cream and whole a
Mhm.
reason.
Mhm.
Or even to say a boy may want to say, Daddy, I like a little girl. Like how Michael will come on and say, I
Yeah,
have
more
a
crushes
GF. And you will say, hold on a man. What is this GF
because
about?
they use short words, short
Mm.
letters,
This is the age where people use
abbreviations,
acronym, whatever call
mm,
them, acronyms.
and
Yeah. And
abbreviations.
right.
So he
And
said, same to the girlfriend, said GF. I was like, what's a GF? And he explained to us that
yeah,
his
it's
girlfriend.
girlfriend and those things. So children sometimes we want to give them the world and all of these things, but what they want is us. They want to spend time with us
I
to know that
remember
they're loved and
I want
appreciated.
I want you to share what some of your funniest memories of your father. Well, I mean, while I share some of mine. And guys, if you have fond memories of your father, you can tell us about them. Share with us, share the nice stories about your father. I remember my father. Well, a whole lot of good memories. Though. I remember one time he took me from his workplace, brought me to Barbican, tell a taxi man to take me home, give the taxi man money, gave me my money, and he was drunk at the time, gave me a kiss right upon the lips, and tell the taxi man say, if you ever make nothing to me boy, I'll leave up your what's not bleep bleep bleep, cancel the words I'm saying. Right? And the taxi man took me home, took me to Papi, and I reached home safely. But I listen me. My father kissed me, and he was drunk though. I don't know if he was sober if he would have done it, but it didn't matter to me. I was like, Jesus, my father kissed me. And it was like a special moment for me. I never ever forget it. I remember other times when my father would come by, drive on my avenue, and like he would, I think he would make plans that he's gonna come by. And guys, I would stay at the gate where I watch and watch and watch till my father passed through. And we see him pass, and we see the van, we go outside, and sometimes he would go down the road and come up back. And go check somebody and come back. I would stop at the gate. It was like the proudest moment again. Just to see my father come on my avenue and stop and talk to me. And there are a whole part of times when my father like
Yeah.
just I mean I would go to his workplace and he'd take me down to the bar and he would buy me so what you want and you know just buy me a drink or a soda at the time while him and his friend them drink and I like sit down and drink my alcohol soda and go and wait till him ready. And then he would take me to Papina or take me to Arbitry and put me on a bus. Guys, though my father didn't live with me, those little moments I cherish and appreciate.
Well, of course, I wasn't growing up with my father either.
Mhm.
You know, my father was overseas when I was born. But my three
Oh, hold on, before you,
most,
Rowan, I get you. I forgive you. Same say, I'm sorry. I think I was at work in relation to him not watching the video.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have three great moments with my father. One was the first time was a little girl and my father came back to Jamaica for the first time. And I was up by my mom. Of course, I wasn't growing up with my dad. And somebody come and tell me, Michelle, your father is here. You know, that time I have my mommy's house was the one and my granduncle at the time, Uncle Papa.
Mhm.
And your father's not my Uncle Papa. And I was like, you know, you think no, we call it prank, but you think that they were
Tricking it.
tricking you. No, we call those things prank. But way back in the day, we say, are you trying to trick me or something? Cause they know that all of my friends them that know me through primary school knows that that was my like that was like you hear of Jesus coming. That was my thing. Like Father. So at first I said, you have nothing to do. You know, we still did it. I remember from mango
Because this is
tree
the
was
first thing when see
the
me.
in flesh, the
Mm-hmm.
first. That time I was a little girl in primary, so I don't remember if I was in grade 3 or grade 2 or what. But that's the first time, man, I dash. Ever Usain Bolt have not pour me them time, of course, yeah, but not reach on the road and of course, when I went back to Papa, my father was there. You'd have think that okay, I just saw my father yesterday. Or look here, inside of me is like for the first time, it's, it was a hug. Cause at the time, you know, English people call you Bobby. So they say, "Come here, Bobby. Don't just stand there and look. Come here, Bobby." And you that figure say, "Okay." My father tell me that he's going on the road and him soon come back. With me hug him up and everything. I never want to let go. It come like you know, like when Santa Claus come and you know
Mm-hmm.
everything in a red bag. It wasn't about gifts or anything. It's like you know,
Physically, yeah,
physically.
yeah.
It's like
Is this for real?
man, nobody could hurt me that day. You understand? So that was one of the most fondest one. And even like talking about it now, like we feel emotional. And another time again was on the phone because we used to talk every Sunday when I was living with
Aunt?
my aunt
Mm-hmm.
like and then it was a phone booth. So I would go by village and I would call him and I remember he was telling me on the phone about this thing about guilty pricks have no conscience.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that's the time that I was telling him that there's this guy at church that I like and you know everything and I
What's this
said,
guy mean?
of course it was
Oh, just
you, who else? Please. Yeah, and he must say, well, I think I was 15
Mhm.
and just get saved and and must say guilty pricks happen. That time you never, that is how long me did see you and whatnot. And must say guilty pricks have no because he always asks me, do you have a boyfriend and and on the phone I must say, well, guilty pricks have no conscience. So I ask him what it means. So him said, I think he said he when I got older he would have tell me what it means. And I remember now the next time was when we were engaged and to get married and he was coming
Mhm.
down and my sister Laura and everything and that was the next moment like many times you have to see for the pinch myself if he was really there carrying me down the aisle. It's as if oh my god that was like the best moment because at the time it's like nobody could tell me nothing about my father whether true or lie
Mhm.
be
Mhm.
it's like nobody couldn't tell me anything because for those who haven't grown with their dads, maybe they can understand what it feels like to not grow with your dad, but then he's there in the flesh.
Yes.
So you grow with that super extra expectation that He's what I'm calling knight in charming, everything. Kind of matter what your mother may say, come like your papa or whatever. It's like, all right, go and talk. It's like the expectation builds, and like I said, them can't go and talk. 'Cause it's like in your mind, you have your own picture, your own image, your own everything. No matter what nobody say, I lie them a tell. And on that wedding day is like it was just a dream, like knowing that you're there. He's like the two main men in my life.
And incidentally, Michelle's
super.
father and I celebrate birthday
Yeah, the
on the
16th of
same
June.
day. On the same
16th.
day, the same month. Yeah. Just to backtrack though, Carlene Hines said, so true, sis, because I raised my first and last sons. So she said that she raised when you were saying that you're saying
moms have to do
right,
it.
you're saying
Yeah.
that Happy Father's Day to the mothers who did it
I
by
talk to
themselves.
you,
So
Sister
she's saying that
Hines.
that's so true. But yeah,
Respect.
but Michelle, Dad and I we celebrate the same birthday and the same month. And I think, I mean, it might be watching, but I think I think that kind of, make him be very even more super cautious with his daughter. But thank God, it's 22 years after, or almost 22 years after, and he in his message to me today, he said, he's proud of me and how we have grown and that I stuck it out, through the challenging times with my family, and he really like how we progress and we do rapid and we're still together. And I said to him, thanks, sir. And it meant a lot coming from him. It meant a lot. So, it's I can tell you guys, it's a good feeling to be a father. It's a good feeling to know that boy, you stay with your family and you tough it out and you push and you do what you have to do to put food on the table. It I remember when I was a little boy. I mean, I was like, what is it gonna be like being a dad and being a father, right? But I think as you make that transition to becoming a husband and then a father, all of your instincts, your protective, your provisional instincts, your all them things as a man kick in, and you start to just do what you have to do and make sure boy your family, is taken care of as best as possible.
Yeah, and that is true, because what I realized, when we were pregnant, and I say we because you go through.
Yeah, I put on some weight, but she was
Yeah,
the one who had the
I was.
bigger. She had a bigger belly.
Yeah. So actually, we're saying, oh my God, like being pregnant before the child comes, so, oh, we're going to do it. Like, I think I was more like that. And said, but like, it really kicked in. So, but we're so young. Are we, how we're going to really do it and how we're going to this. And
After
then
she bad me up, so
she want to get, it's true. But when you know that it's nearing to have the kid, like you were saying, we just have to trust the Lord and take it one day at a time and do what we're supposed to do.
Because I mean, Alex, you have the experience with grandchildren. I mean,
no, we didn't.
Right. Just one second before you continue, Michelle. Carlin says, I grew up with both of my parents, so my experience was totally different. Tell us about your experience, Carlin. What was it like growing up with both parents? Michelle and I didn't grow up with both our parents. So you can tell us what was it like having a home with mom and dad? You can tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can remember the first care that we had.
I'm gonna get myself a refill, guys.
Michelle, the first care that we had. I'm glad that as a father, even though I don't know to do that, as a young father, he jumped in and know what to do. Donna had a cold, even though I have the little pump that we bought at the pharmacy when we were preparing. She had a cold. But she was stuffy and it's not as if she couldn't breathe, like the mucus was stuck in her nostril. And I was there trying to use the little pump thing and it's not working. And I said, Cornell, she's not breathing and here she's going and she's gonna die. I can't remember. You took her. You took her out of my hand and he pulls out a coal. Oh my God. He hold that time she was a little young baby, He hold her and he used his mouth. Oh, yes, right over there. And he pulls out the mucus and spit it out. I may say, boy, me give God thanks. When I'm panicking, you were there because you're never gonna do that. And I mean, you love your child and everything, but that was the furthest thing from my mind. So you need to come and explain what prompted you. How did you know to do it?
How did I use the thingy?
No, it wasn't working.
Oh my.
And you gentle. And one at a time I was saying, you need to call Sister Fuller. You don't remember? I was panicking and said, you need to call Sister Fuller and
You
ask
remember
her.
that?
Yeah, ask her what to do. And you took Jordan away and you put her to lay in your arms. And then I think you hold slightly holding it one of her nostril and gently pull through the collar and say, oh, and then she was good to go again. So you know, as parents, it kicks in to you when you see that child and know that okay, they're relying on you. It kicks in whether you're a dad or so. It kicks in what next to do. You understand? And the thing is just I don't understand even some dads when they're together with that child and the mom in the beginning of the early stage of the child being birthed. You know, I guess they have that sense of thing like, you know, they will never leave the child. They will never leave the child. But somewhere along the line when, you know, things get sour, you know, they end up and while I cannot speak for anybody, at times I can only think that it has more to do with us as parents and really nothing to do with the child. But most times the child don't grow up feeling that. The child grow up feeling that they are the problem. So yeah, you just as parents and as dads, you just have to reaffirm no matter what the situation is as dads to break this thing where they're saying, okay, fathers, you know, are deadbeats and whatnot. To break it, what you need to do against all odds, it doesn't matter what the pressure the woman may fling on you because some women are vindictive. We know that. It doesn't matter what the situation. Just if you could just keep your focus that my youth may think about. My youth, you know, never bear this because I'm my youth. We can't let my, you know, we can't afford to sit back because of she or whoever and let my youth go through
Because the truth is,
these
you're
unnecessary
adults,
struggles.
and for those who are not, who don't do it our way, the Christian way,
Wait,
you may find that the relationship that you started with this particular lady didn't work out. But it doesn't say you should not be a part of your child's life. Because when you're not a part of the child's life, that child is going to get influenced, as we heard earlier today in church. If you are not the one influencing your child's decision, somebody else is, or
yeah,
somebody else will,
yeah,
right? And at the end of the day, whether or not you, once you know it's your child, whatever the child turns out to be, and if you're alive and live long enough to see that child come to fruition, whatever the child turns out to be is what you did or did not do.
I
Why the
didn't
child is
do.
why the child is where he or she is at, right? And Michelle was asking about what did I think about Jordan
Yeah,
and
the
stuff. I think
communicate.
I listen to me. When your child is in a situation, you find ways and means, especially if
Yeah.
they're ill, to get them better. And I think it was just I don't know, it was just that is just an instinct to say, okay, then if this has to be done. I think you mentioned it like, oh, you mentioned to me that Mr. Locke said it for
Oh,
sure
did
net.
it for sure. And you should call Sister Fuller.
Right.
Yes.
And I think I just all right, then if Mr. Locke said it, then Sir Locke did it, then I can do it too. And I just get the job done because the truth of the matter is you are responsible for the
For your
child that you
child.
bring into this world. And one other thing for me too is that I knew that the most I would have is two, because to have more children than you can manage to me is worse,
Yeah.
is worse than you saying, about a lot.
Yeah.
You understand me? And they say make God take care of them. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, to each his own, but
Yeah, to each his own, and I mean, sometimes I don't love being that because the related situation is that you can preach one of time, and people still do, and my focus is on children because They are here. They have to be taken care of. They have to be protected.
Yeah.
And another thing, before you read what
Cardi.
Carney said, their fathers. I have to say respect to every father, every man who is willing to take care of somebody else's child that is not theirs.
True, true,
Respect,
true.
respect, respect.
Seven people on the live, you may indicate who you are, the seventh person. Say hi to us. We'll indicate the seven, just jump off. Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
Yeah, respect, respect. That's why I don't stress it.
Mm.
Respect to those father, those stepfathers, and whoever, whether uncles or people who adopt children. Respect, because when you can love somebody else's child, it speaks a lot of your character.
Yeah.
And for those who are out there, you also who you have ladies, oh, the kids are not yours, and some of you cannot get past those kids' father to love those children. You really need to stop it. You really need to stop
Because the
it, because
children is
children
always
are
innocent.
innocent. Children are innocent.
Child is always innocent.
Mhm.
Right, so Colin says in response what we asked her, what was it like being having both parents at home? She said, well, they were always there for us. My mom stayed at home and took care of the home, and my dad went to work. He worked hard to make sure that
Yeah.
we were provided for, protected, etc.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And
That's excellent.
and you find it is, and you find that that's how things were back in the day. The father would go out and work, and the mom would take care of the home. But is that
Back in the day, too, you still have a lot of children that weren't being owned by men, and they weren't taking care of their kids either.
yeah, me know. But you
Mhm.
find that for those who were together, it would be the man the man who's going out to work, and the wife or the mother would be probably staying home to take care of the kids.
Yeah,
But things have changed.
yeah. Things are
Things have
changing.
changed so much to the point where the it's because they were saying, okay, the earning power of the woman can be just as good as the earning
As the,
power
as the
of the
man.
man. And so why should it be that the woman must stay home? You know, that is another topic all by itself
Yeah, it's
because
a
there's a
topic all
certain
by itself.
maternal instincts that comes with the mother dealing with the child, right? In a particular way that the father cannot.
No, and again, now you're having fathers who are staying with the kids.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
That came about because first was saying about the earning power of a man doesn't necessarily mean that yet the wife has to be at home. What about the
yeah,
wife start earn more?
one cannot replace the other. However, I will take that situation. You know why I will take that
You mean the
situation?
father staying home with the children?
With staying home with the children, no matter
Okay.
go to work. If that is the situation, the reason why I will take this that no,
Hmm.
not for one replacing the other, but that situation is still better than having an absentee dad. Because you always find that most women found back the middle ground in knowing that they have recreation time.
Hmm.
You understand, as a family in those situations, because it takes strong family unit even for that decision to be made. Wherein a man stays home and the woman have to work because they have the greater working
Hmm.
power, financial
Earning power.
earning power. You find it take conscious parenting and takes two to agree on that. So right there for me within itself, they're already working as a team, around the family.
A topic
So
for discussion.
yeah, another top, but
Carlin
yeah, I'll
says
say that.
we didn't have a lot, so we grow to appreciate the small things in life. My most cherished memories is of us going fishing.
See?
Even in my adult years, when I go home, I look forward to going fishing.
And that is what I was saying in the beginning. Children will not remember how many thousands of dollars you paid for toys, shoes, and gadgets. But from back then up until now, in human being, children will remember
Time
the
spent.
quality time you spent with them.
And she said he would even take a day out just for that.
That's what I'm
Hmm.
saying.
Hmm.
You can give a child the world, and all they can think about I resent my dad or my mom because they didn't spend any time with me. My dad wasn't there. You understand? So another sibling but said, but I mean, he buy us all we wanted, and we have the latest this and the latest that. But if you have never spent time with them, there's gonna be resentment.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So sometimes people look at it and say, boy, I mean, I have money. Even fathers, they stress themselves for, boy, I mean, I have money to buy my youth this and buy my youth that. But what I would say in those situations, try and be there. Take them, go, take them to the river if that's what you can afford. Take them to the ball field to play football. You understand? I mean, if you don't have the money to do certain, maybe you can watch a movie, but right now you have YouTube, you have next on your phone, whatever. Sit down and watch a good positive movie with them and explain what it is. And as today it was said in church, good job by the way, Sister Thompson. It was said in church. Explain your journey. Have a little story time with them. You understand? If it's more than one, and say, when I was a youth growing up, boy, all this technology, and I have to say you're a person who have to go look wood and carry upon your head. Say you have to carry water. However, say you have none of those country experience. Tell them what the experience was like. Everybody have an experience. From once you're alive, you have been through something, whether it was good, bad, or indifference, or what. Share it with the children, because when you share with them like that, you open up the means and of communication, and they can share back with you too, and then they can feel like, oh, I have a moment with dad, and my dad was this, and when my dad was that, my dad used to do this, and it will make sense to them why they themselves are doing certain things, or find themselves in certain situation, and was like, seven fun, I'm getting that from my mother. Share.
And even persons who know your father would say, yeah man, a boy and fitting that,
Yeah.
or as such and such. Just like him father. So it's not just about the negatives. You understand me? You can highlight the positives.
And you were correct on that. When I was in the country growing up and when my father was absent, you understand, and I didn't know him at the time. Everyone me turned in the community. A long neck of your father. That's because that was my father nickname. I said, come here. What a way favor long neck. Yeah, long neck picnic. And it makes me feel good. So I said, boy, long neck cut you out. So, it makes, so wow, favorite father. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, as you grow older, certain things may not matter too much to you, but when you're a child,
It mattered.
it matters.
So guys, Colleen says, now that I am a parent, I do my best to spend time with them, even if it's to jump rope or to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
And that's why I said that there are parents now, even men, young men, who are trying to do it better.
Yeah.
And those are the things I think we need to highlight in a society and stop perpetuate the bad part and stop prolong the bad part, the negatives. You understand me?
Even yesterday we were was it between St.
Yeah.
We saw that at the bus stop. Was it two boys or two girls and a boy? It was three kids.
Two girls and a boy.
Right. And while you see them nap stack, well, pop up your nose, all right, they must spend holiday. And we're talking about the dad. You see the dad alone with his three kids, and he was combing, brushing hair and at the bus stop.
At the bus stop.
Combing the daughter's hair at the bus stop, and I said, wow, we have to go in the country area to see that.
Sight.
It was a beautiful sight a day before Father's Day. And he was a young guy too.
Yeah.
Young guy. I say, see, people don't talk about the good. They always hear, oh, they did that. And yes, that's true. They're there, but a lot of stepping up is happening. A lot of young guys are stepping up. And a lot of young guys are making sure that their kids have what they really need.
Yeah.
You understand? Even at picking up Michael from school and dropping up. You see, I am seeing more dads doing dropping off and picking up more than moms. So it cannot be that, okay, the father not stop. I mean, not that taxi driver, okay? The taxi driver them different from the father.
Thanks, Craig. Happy Father's Day to you, bro. Big up yourself.
Happy Father's Day, Craig. You understand? So I mean, if you big up the dads, man, big them up. Things are changed. It's a look up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You understand? And you have some women now wearing. They won't allow the men to do some stuff around the house. You know, if the man love to iron, make him iron. You know. Yeah, sometimes we call, oh, me not get no help, and we're dead underneath it. And so allow them to do what them can do. If they can cook a one meal, make them do it and big them up too. You
Yeah,
know?
I think that's the other thing too. We need to give more praise where praise is
It's
due.
true.
Yes. Talk. I mean, especially in the homes. I for one. I mean, my wife works from home, but I love and appreciate when she says I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't even have to be no long poem and no splendorous nothing. I just to say I appreciate you is enough. And if she goes any further and says something else, not a problem. But we need to, as fathers, especially young men who are coming up, we need to be encouraged. And if you have a man in your life, or who's if you're not married but he's playing his role as a father, encourage him.
Encouraging.
Encourage him.
Yeah.
And even if he's not really, whenever bring money for the child, say thank you.
Yeah.
Make him know you appreciate it. And somehow, sometimes I think ladies sometimes don't understand that. In as much as women are emotional, men have an emotional side to him, and that part of it is it needs to be addressed too, so that we can have a balance.
Yeah, and their situation. If the man is not, if the man don't have the money to give, but he wants to maybe
Come and
come and,
spend a couple
spend
hours with the
time with the
child.
child. Let it be.
Yeah, man.
Let it be. That's why, you know, a lot of the problem is just women need to get themselves out of the way. Parents, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have
Think
some
about the
fathers,
child.
yeah, and you have some fathers who are stupid too. Sometimes because they can't have their way with their ex intimately, then they refuse to take
Yeah,
care of a child. That's
which is
rubbish.
rubbish.
And I hear that happens a lot. That's rubbish. Yes, the person is your ex, you cannot get to have your way with her, then you're gonna what? Penalize your whole relationship with the child because of that?
No,
You
can't be
understand
right.
that? That's foolishness.
Can't be
You're not
right.
hurting her, you're
Yeah.
hurting the child. So let us all as adults get over ourselves and just, yeah, be there for the kids. Be there.
And one of the final things we want to talk about too. I just what Colin says. Tell them necessarily utter rubbish. It
It
is.
is.
It is utter rubbish.
It is rubbish. It
Um,
is.
one of the things that I want to even highlight is the fact that when there is let me start.
What intimacy not being able to, then you withhold
Eh,
from the
eh, eh, eh.
child
No,
when there is
but
conflict.
no. I think what I want to highlight is just the fact that there has to be clear understanding and a development of the mind. You understand me? Before we became parents, we couldn't fathom necessarily how the whole thing will unfold,
Yeah.
right? But you grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain instincts that come up and certain ways and means that come up as you mature. You can't be
You're
mature people and not deal with things on a mature
Yeah,
level,
because that's true. Your
right?
unconditional love will
Hmm.
guide you as to how to take care of this child. And it's true. That's why I don't understand
Yeah.
how, you know, parents, both father and mother know, they will neglect that child
Hmm.
because that same child that you spend so much money to prepare for, to bring into the world when you're here, you know it's a boy, it's a girl. That tender care you gave from they could not speak, cannot move. Where did that love go when they start to walk, start to talk, and start to be able to help themselves to a level? Where did it go? So it must be that there's some level of hurt that takes place within the fathers, within the mothers, while the child is now being
Neglected. Yeah.
neglected.
Oh, good night to you, Mr. Triggs. This is Triggs Music, the one who
Oh,
calls me every day and does
good night, Mr. Triggs.
call me at night and early morning
Welcome.
to disturb me morning sometime and
Oh,
call
your
me
early
multiple
morning
times.
call.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Welcome,
give
Mr.
himself
Triggs.
trouble to them same one of my son at work. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the daddy.
So he says sometimes love isn't enough. It's just the mindset and how mature and individual is. That's
Yeah,
what we're saying.
that's
So if
that
you're
is
if you're
it.
mature, don't just mature because you're mature and you can have sex.
No.
Are you mature and you can drink and smoke? No. Are you mature so you can cuss bother? No. You're mature so you can deal with things on a mature
On a
level,
mature level.
right? Especially when you have children involved. You have to raise your maturity to that level
To that
where the
level.
child is not penalized, where the child can understand that even if mom and daddy are not on the best terms, you are the most precious
Precious.
thing.
Because somebody have to take care of them. They're children for a reason. It means that they need to be nurtured until they can take care of themselves. And the truth is, as parents, if we don't do it, somebody else is gonna do it, and whoever is doing it is doing it with a price.
Yeah,
It's gonna cost the children
there's a
something.
motive behind
There's
it.
a motive behind
Happy
it.
Father's Day to you, Sir Triggs. Also,
You
'cause
understand?
you missed the girl in truck.
So it
So
the thing about unconditional love for children, it pushes you to become mature.
yeah.
Because children are having children. We cannot go around it. And that's what we were saying.
Hmm.
We were very young, yeah, when we got married and have children. But that unconditional love that this being is coming from us, we cannot afford to let what happened to us in whatever
Between us.
negative form,
Yes.
you understand, affect them because they're too precious. And that is something that you have to grow up and nurture too. Good parenting comes with growth, with the acknowledgement of, okay, this is what I want for him, this is what I want for her. It don't just fall out of the sky because you're a woman to it happen. You have to have a dream as to where you want your children to go, and you can dream without the money.
Yes.
That dream that you have without the money, it does help you to push you to protect and to nurture. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? I was grown in a time wherein if my mother eat yam, I'm eating yam.
Straight.
You
You better know that.
understand? If it's chicken back and aki and dumpling, and it is nice, it come like any KFC, and so it
Mm-hmm.
has to do with the parents acknowledge that, look, it's not about me anymore. It's about this being that I have to care for. And it
Mm-hmm.
don't, yes, we need money, yes, but first you have them then before you have the money. And you have the capability of caring for them before that. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we have to be realistic and put ourselves on the back burner, but that's the problem. A lot of parents won't allow themselves to become second to their children. A lot. Because when you see most people step out, you understand, if you're going by looks and then you see the children, then you'll wonder what's the problem. Why
Mm-hmm.
why is this child looking as if they're not being cared for, or what?
Mm-hmm.
Because mommy and daddy sparkling like diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So who is putting who first? They're putting themselves first.
Yeah.
And you understand? And if it's your child, you shouldn't really need money to care for your child. Yes, you need money to provide for them in the best way possible. But this is the time wherein we have to make do with what we really have. Because we're the ones who are going for them. Even if we're not going for them, we're the one having them. You understand?
Whether by
So
book ups or
whether by
purpose
buck-ups are
or
planned.
deliberate.
You understand? And they won't stay babies and children forever. They're growing up. And the irony of the situation is that most of the children that are not being cared for in the best way that they could have, they are the ones who are standing up later on in life as security
For the
for these
parents.
parents who have neglected them.
Mhm.
And we need to change our mentality to think that, okay, because we have them, they must do this and they must do that. You understand? Do you want to gamble your future and your life future that when you become, what do you say, more shut-ins and you can't move? And it takes, what would you say? It takes the grace of God for you to lift up your face, to look in that child's face, to say thank you.
Yeah.
We all have to make choices. We all have to make choices. And when we're parents, sometimes we don't have the luxury, you understand, to make choices only for ourselves and what benefits us. You
We have
know?
to think about children.
You have to think
So
about
Carlin says
children.
our society is suffering because of lack of fathers,
Hmm.
basically fatherless homes.
Yeah.
And she said also that some of our women needs to be held accountable as well. Very true. Right? Trick, so the new generation is getting worse and worse because it's just babies having babies, and most of these babies weren't born right.
Yeah.
That's
That's
hence
what the
hence
thing.
babies having
The
babies.
baby having baby.
Darling says, and when the relationship with the father goes south, the mothers curse the children about the deadbeat
Hmm.
father.
And that's what we're saying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes they are to be blamed.
And the
The
fact
mothers
that
are to be blamed. You know
and
that a man, sorry, they know that a
mhm,
man is not interested in you like that. And even in this day and age, you have ladies being stupid enough to say, I'm going to have a child for him and he must stick around.
yeah, and that is what we're saying. So this, and I hear your tricks, because the scripture tells it about so
Yeah,
it
it did
got
say.
however, there's still time to lessen the impact or
Yeah.
lessen the degradation, in the sense that we who understand and see what go on, we know how to do it differently.
Mhm.
And when you see a virgin upon the corner or your sister and live a particular way, do certain things a particular way, say to them, say, hey, wait, hey, you can't,
Mhm.
you don't have to do that way. No, everybody have them choice, so they want to do that. If they want to do, they want to, them do them want to do.
And if they turn
Nevertheless,
around, nothing go and punish them.
nevertheless, the one them are conscious, that think consciously, have to make the difference and do things differently for the next generation, if the Lord tarries. Yes? Guys, we could have talked all night.
Yeah.
However,
Fascinating.
because of persons who are saying, Mr. Lee, you've been there too long. We have to now adjust it. But trust me, with our lives, we give a little bit more light to it because we want it to be interactive, and
Interactive.
persons to share their views. And you have been fantastic. Everybody who came on, from Rowan to
Yeah.
Sherry, bless always,
Yes.
to Pamela Brown, who just dropped in to say hi.
And then
Jen, my mom, of course, and Carlene,
Carly.
Triggs, all of you who participated. It has been fun, really been fun. Triggs says there's nothing worse than a bitter black woman. So
Ah,
most times when the relationship ends, the females totally forget that there's a child involved,
same
and it
thing.
makes it very hard to cope here. Brother,
That's what we
you,
were
you need to
saying in
write
the
a book,
beginning.
You
It's
need to write
true.
a book.
And that's what we were
This is,
saying in the
I
beginning
hope in
too.
our you
It's
don't
true.
read this sort of a book,
If you're reading
But I
out
know
of
I
a
know I know
book,
you're
you hit the,
intellectual.
the nail on
Come
the
on.
head because that's what we were saying
His
in the
intelligence is
beginning.
up there. So
Most of the problems has to do with women, and we have to take the
as
responsibility
Carlin
too.
said, yeah,
Yeah, we have to stand up to
be
it
held accountable.
and stop sacrificing the children for our selfish needs and desire and just our selfishness and ways. You understand? So I mean, and society needs to stand up. The best way to change a thing our persons is to encourage.
Yeah, not
You
to cuss
understand? Not to curse and to tear
and tear down.
down. And it's to encourage and to acknowledge those who are doing it the right
Yeah.
way.
And
You
let
know?
that be the thing that we
Yeah,
promote.
that we
May
promote.
that be the thing we highlight.
Yeah.
You understand? Make the negativity go and fade away, where we enlarge and
Yeah.
magnify the positive.
And if
Yeah.
you want to see how true that is, when you touch the street on a Mother's Day, you see a
Oh
gifts
gosh, man.
bestowed dog. And
Yeah,
when you
man.
go to look for a gift for the dads,
Far few and
you
far
can
in
hardly
between.
find. You have
Yeah.
to really think
But
to find something.
we
So
have to just constantly pound it until things change.
yeah.
You understand me?
And we have to
Yeah.
constantly encourage our fathers, and if you're around young dads, encourage them, motivate them, let them know, yeah, you're a kid, man. No matter where you want to go out with, focus on your child and do what you have to do. Cause
And I share them say youth.
are
You just
you
take care of youth.
take care of you. He or she soon be 18 'cause time of fly, and they will
Just
know the
me.
right. Even before they reach 18, because children nowadays, by the time they reach 15, 16,
Them know
they
about that.
know what is
Yeah, man.
happening.
Yeah, man.
Even before that,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
so just continue to take care of your children, because
And be a
that's your
good father.
blood, and be a good
Be a good
father in the
father.
best way you can. If you
Yeah.
don't have the money to pour out, make time and spend time with your
Yeah.
kids,
Be a good
because
father.
that's what they're going to remember anyway, the amount of time you spend with
You
them.
notice I did. I mean, in all of what Michelle and I expressed regarding our fondest memories,
Mhm.
none of us did say, "Oh, remember my father give me 10,000. I remember my father give me 5,000. No, it's the little moments spent. The man buy me a soda. Remember that man sit down and drink it. Him drive me in a truck. And with a driving in a van. Those were the most fondest
Yeah,
memories.
we used to have some great phone calls on Sundays, but
Hmm.
life happens, so I'm not going to dwell on the negative.
True.
I learned to just pick out the positive and give thanks and
Give
hold that.
thanks and move on. So Triggs get the last one. He says, "True love died from our grandparents and your generation, and your generation is it's all about money now.
Mm,
Females beat females beat a trying man. Oh, females beat
yeah,
a trying man and label them as deadbeats, and that demotivates a man and plays with the mental space. Trust me,
yeah.
trust me.
Somebody else.
Yeah, this is Rhonda Rainford, brother. Oh, brother Ruel.
Whatever. Oh, good night, brother. Well, good to
Thank
have
you for
you.
coming on, sir. Thank you for coming on. Good to have
Yeah.
you. Um, Listen, Tricks, if you are read this certain book, when my book I work tomorrow,
It
night, give me
doesn't
the
really
book.
matter. Thank
But
you
I
for
honestly
sharing,
believe
Chicks.
it coming from your brain.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is what he says. He says, true love died from our generation, from our grandparents. And your generation, it's all about money now. Females beat a trying man. See that? Females beat a trying man and label them deadbeats. And then what happened? That the men get demotivated and then it plays on their mental space.
Yeah.
So here it is that this man that you find, him not have him not have no bashy car,
Yeah.
him not have no whole of money in bank account. But what he does, he goes out there and bust him shot, come back
Try.
in with the money,
That enough.
spend time with him little boy, run up and down, play football. You understand me? But when the lady now look over the fence and say, my you know, Tom Strokes have a limousine or a Benz and him lady man need to go party every night, whatever. She look over that and she say, boy, as far as she see, man, live better life. But the man that is beside her who is trying, see what it's she knows say him not bring enough money or not live no life, she call him a deadbeat. You understand me? And then now him a wonder if me I try and you still a cuss me. Where the
Yeah,
use?
they
So when
compare, they feed
play
them with their
and
mouth,
when
and they
play down and
deplete
yeah.
the funds that they may get for the kids. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like I was saying in the beginning, the children don't inherit. You understand? All the father is trying, all the children hear of the dad, because the dad is not even there. Is that daddy now, daddy now? But
Mm-hmm.
under the
Mm-hmm.
quiet, daddy is giving what daddy have. But
Exactly.
instead of the mother allowing the child to grow up as a child
Yeah.
and deal with that behind
Yeah.
closed door,
Yeah.
they show things that are not even true to the
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
So it infiltrates the child to think that, oh, maybe that beat that. No. When the father is really trying and
Mm-hmm.
giving what he have, but
Yeah.
he doesn't really have a voice because he's not there to speak for himself too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we just, those who know better do it, and those who have friends who are going through situation like this, encourage them to still stand and to still do what they need to do for their children. Encourage them, help build the mental state to know that, you're doing your best. Yes, she not tell you that you are, but you are a good father, and keep going for your youth. Focus on your youth, don't
Mm-hmm.
focus on him. So
Mm-hmm.
let us encourage people that we know who are in these situations. Let them know that you may not have it all, but you're doing your best. Because they need to hear from somebody so they can continue to do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
because it's the reality of life. Everybody doesn't have it in rainbow and flowers,
True.
you
Trick says
know.
if you can't provide for the female, including the child, it's not enough. You can't provide only for the child. Yes. Nowadays, they feel as if they are entitled to whatever you earn. What your money bring you from?
And that's why a lot of no, it may sound fun,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true you're talking because as we were saying earlier, you have a lot of females who their main aim is to have these kids because they're like an
And the
insurance of
kid, yeah,
collecting and
yeah,
not thinking about the children themselves.
yes.
It's just for them to get money.
Hmm.
As long as they're getting the money, they can look shiny and glittery. And it's sometimes it's not being
And
spent on the
often,
kids.
exactly, that's what I was about to
It's
say.
not being spent on the
Oftentimes, the money is collected, but it's not. And that is why, guys, it don't make sense. We go and plant and sow our seeds all over the place
yeah,
because
yeah.
you're going to find some ladies, as Colin said, who should be held accountable, who are
Mhm.
not going to take care of the child as they should. And all the other, and as far as they are concerned, that child is a magnet for money.
Yeah.
So all they want to do is that you're a child with pull money, money, pull more money, pull more money from you.
Yeah, so the dads have to wise up too. You have to wise up. This
Yeah.
thing where
Not just
Jamaica
the dads, the
encourage
males.
the males,
Yeah.
you have to this thing that Jamaica encourage, it is not sensible. I've been a lot of women and they call them in bungle or what have you. I don't
Yes.
know what it builds for
Yeah.
some men,
It's an
but yeah,
egotistic
you
thing.
have to get over the slangs and try to live by the slangs and live by
Live live
by
by your own
truth. Live by
principles.
truth and
Yeah. Yeah,
principles.
man. Don't
You
listen.
understand?
Do not pay any attention to the entertainers who are telling you
Yeah.
garbage.
And I want to trust that there is no
I
one
know
in the
they're telling
church who is loving themselves, you
to
understand,
be
who
influenced
knows better
by
about
yeah.
being influenced by these things of the world. And we want to think that, even if there are fathers within the church who are falling short, you know the word, so you should live by the word. And
Mhm.
you should uphold your end
Yeah.
upon your end.
Good night, Christopher Robinson.
Oh, it's been
Robertson.
a
It's been a
while,
while.
Chris.
Happy Father's Day
Welcome.
to you, my
Happy
Lord.
Father's Day.
And
And
big up
happy Father's
yourself.
Day to the brother Rural.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Happy
Brother
Father's
Rainford.
Day.
Happy Father's Day to you. Yes, yes. Happy Father's Day to you. So hear what Cardine says. Cardine says, plus, which was the thing we're echoing. Plus, when you provide for the children, the mother do their hair, their nails, and their hair with the money.
Hence they're glittering. That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Cheeks says again, it's the music that's poisoning the minds of the female artists
Yeah.
are given poison
Of
the
the
minds
female.
because the female artists are giving them the mindset that men should do everything and they should not work and just stay home and look out and look cute. Um,
Mhm.
that is, I mean, the nowadays female artists, for true, I've heard me hear that echo. I hear that echoing. However, you have and I think back in the day still a lot of the lyrical content that came from the conscious artists like Lieutenant Stitchie, Professor Nuts, Papa San and all these dudes were just saying to young ladies, don't just sit down and look for something from a man. If you can do something for yourself because sitting and looking cute is like you're just wasting your life for one and two. If I don't give it to you, you get it, you're looking from somebody else. You understand me? And then now, in this time and this dispensation, the female artists say, listen, if you not have it, kick him to the curb and find somebody else. And
Yeah.
to me, that mentality is saying you're selling yourself cheap. Or is it that they're saying, okay, there's always better, so if you now cut it, move on to something
The
better.
truth is, I don't know the songs, but I can imagine that it's true because sometimes, you know, even back then, I know they listen to the male artists,
Mhm.
and then especially the male, and then they keep up with certain slang or whatever. But I can't really speak to it, but I will trust that it's true. I don't know the music
Yeah,
then.
we doesn't keep up to date.
Not
But
telling the honest.
I hear it on the radios or I hear it sometime, among other people walking with them in phone and then play whatever. And sometimes what I do, I consciously listen because I want to be able to relate sometime when I'm talking to the men or talking to the ladies. Say, this is really a song. And I'm saying, yeah, father, or yes, Mr. Lee is a really a song. communicating. And then I said, but what this, what that? Because you want to be able to not just show your Christian belief. You want to be able to say, okay, let me have an understanding of why you see it this way or why you do it that way. And then you can, you can break it down to them why it should be that way. But either way, guys, again, we just want to say thanks. Brother Rainford said thank you, since you much appreciated, sir, and thank you for the support. Trick says love, true love and being mutual died years ago.
Maybe that's your experience.
No,
I
no, I
can
think he's well,
on a
well, well,
whole.
well, well,
No,
well, well,
I
well.
don't believe
Maybe
it.
it's his experience with you because
Maybe
he's
that's your
saying that
experience, but I don't
the
believe.
olden people they had it and it was displayed. Nowadays is a different thing. With
Yeah, I think it can be
is it
found. It
true? Is it
just
choices that we men make sometimes?
I think that's your opinion, and it may very well be your experience, but I think it depends where you're looking for.
Yeah.
It depends. Have a lot to do where people look for true love.
Hmm.
You understand?
Yeah. But again, we're gonna have to close the live. Appreciate all the persons who came on. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate your comments.
Yes.
Really appreciate you sharing with us.
Yes, and I
And
appreciate Triggs
yes,
for
yes,
sharing. And that is what we really are asking for persons when you come on, because we don't take it that we know everything,
right,
because we live in a circle where and we're focusing on the Lord and we live by the Bible. But we know that there's a whole big world out there that people goes through things, real serious things. And while we may not experience some of those things, we really appreciate persons who do come and speak and those things, because as we share with you, you understand, we expect you to share with us so we can learn from you as well as you learn from us. So greatly appreciated all the persons who shared. For those who are listening, but you chose not to, we appreciate you as well. And as time goes by, you can allow yourself also to share.
yeah.
You know.
So Trick gets the last one. He says, your generation is the last generation of of true love. Our generation is doomed. No,
No,
you're not
because
doomed. You're not
as
doomed.
long
But
as
I
the
understand the
Lord,
point you're
as long
making.
as the Lord lended us breath, cheeks, we are parents, and we are making sure that our seed, which is also the next generation,
Prolong
they
truth
are going to
and
have a
prolong love.
possible,
Yes.
a positive impact in society by the grace of God.
By the grace
And that
of
is
God.
why we're sitting here tonight.
Yes. Not just to entertain, but to
Not
really
just to entertain,
yeah, but to educate.
but to educate. And
And
we're
to share
sitting here
positivity.
to let people know that it is possible
Yeah.
to go against that what the world is showing us is. And with God, we know that all things are possible. And through Christ,
All things are possible.
all things are possible.
So guys, love you lots. Love you a lot. Thank you for for the
Yeah.
time you spent with us. Really appreciate it. And next week, God's willing, we'll have another topic. In fact, whilst Triggs, spoke and really gave his opinion, I thought about this topic. Do men know what love is?
Ah.
Next week. God bless and see you on the other side. Until our next upload, look out for we have some, as I say, some material, some content that we're working on to produce, or to put up, and so look out for those. All right.
Yeah.
God bless. God bless.
And thank you all. Thank
So
you
God,
all.
God, he said that's a good one. Yes. So let's see what happens next week. Do men know what love is? God bless. See you on the other side.